She never had to spank Albert, but she did have to spank Caroline.
Mm-hmm. Regularly, yes.
You remember what you did?
I probably talked too much. I was quite a chatterbox.
What if one of the world's most photographed princesses spent an entire lifetime hiding heartbreak behind elegance, royal duty, and perfect public smiles? Behind the luxury of Monaco's royal palace, scandals, tragic losses, impossible expectations, and emotional wounds quietly shaped the life of a woman millions thought they already understood. At 69, Princess Caroline of Monaco remains one of the most fascinating and mysterious figures ever connected to European royalty. But very few people know just how painful and dramatic the journey truly became behind closed doors. But the deeper this story goes, the more surprising revelations begin to unfold. The weight of royal expectations. Princess Caroline Louise Marguerite Grimaldi entered life on January the 23rd, 1957, inside the grand walls of the Prince's Palace of Monaco, and almost immediately, existence carried a weight far bigger than ordinary royal celebration. Monaco was tiny, glamorous, wealthy, and beautiful from the outside, but deep concerns surrounded succession and survival. One missing heir could have changed everything. Agreements with France had already created fears about what might happen if the Grimaldi family line ended. Imagine growing up knowing that a whole country attached enormous importance to one birth. Sounds overwhelming, right? Every detail surrounding arrival received careful attention. Exact birth time was officially recorded because succession rules mattered that much. Newspapers discussed significance across Europe. Palace officials treated arrival almost like a state matter, rather than simple family joy. Monaco depended heavily on continuity. Without heirs, independence faced uncertainty. Such pressure quietly surrounded childhood from the very beginning. Prince Rainier III already carried responsibility for protecting Monaco's future. Grace Kelly had recently transformed from Hollywood superstar into royal princess after one of the most talked-about marriages in modern history. Glamour surrounded every photograph. Fairy tale language filled magazines endlessly. Expensive gowns, palace balconies, elegant ceremonies, luxury cars, famous guests. Everything looked magical from outside perspectives. Reality inside palace walls felt much colder sometimes. Palace life followed rules, schedules, etiquette, and formality. Emotional closeness often came second to duty. Childhood inside royalty rarely resembled ordinary family life. Meals happened separately. Nannies handled much of daily care. Grand dining rooms existed mainly for official entertaining and distinguished guests. Smaller rooms became places where children spent more time eating quietly away from public attention. Strange arrangement for a family, honestly. Many people probably imagine royal households full of warmth and luxury every second, but distance shaped much of daily routine. Prince Rainier devoted enormous energy toward transforming Monaco into an international luxury destination. Casinos, tourism, business opportunities, glamorous events, wealthy visitors. Long working hours became normal. Government matters constantly demanded attention. Meanwhile, Grace Kelly faced enormous personal adjustment after leaving Hollywood behind. One of America's most admired actresses suddenly lived under strict royal expectations with limited personal freedom. Reports often described Grace seeking comfort inside palace cinema rooms, watching old films from earlier acting years. Old movies connected royal life to former identity. Sad detail when thinking deeply about circumstances. Imagine becoming globally admired for talent and freedom, then suddenly living within endless royal rules and ceremonies. Such transition could not have been easy. Inside this atmosphere, emotional distance slowly became normal. Discipline mattered. Public image mattered. Proper behavior mattered. Royal children learned quickly that appearance carried enormous importance. Smiles during official events, correct posture, respectful manners, carefully chosen words. Childhood freedom existed within boundaries. Then family dynamics shifted further. In 1958, Prince Albert arrived. One birth quietly changed Caroline's position forever. Before Albert, position as heir presumptive placed enormous significance on future role. After Albert's birth, succession focus moved toward younger brother, because Monaco traditionally favored male succession. Palace attention naturally shifted alongside future planning. Albert became future prince in public imagination almost immediately. Such change probably created complicated feelings even without open discussion. One day, central importance surrounded position. Next day, future direction changed. Palace staff, advisors, and traditions slowly adjusted expectations. Caroline still remained important, of course, but different expectations emerged. Less future ruler, more royal daughter, expected to represent elegance, intelligence, and grace. Then another major family shift arrived in 1965, with birth of Princess Stephanie. By then, Caroline had already grown into older sibling responsibilities. 8-year age gap naturally created expectation of maturity. Palace culture reinforced such expectations heavily. Responsible behavior became necessary. Younger sister and younger brother looked toward older example. Public attention increased alongside age. Responsibility followed constantly. Every public appearance received scrutiny. Clothing choices attracted discussion. Facial expressions attracted commentary. Friendships attracted rumors. Even simple teenage activities became international conversation topics because royal families fascinated media endlessly during that period, especially glamorous royal families. Education became another major part of upbringing. Prestigious schools emphasized discipline, academic excellence, languages, and intellectual development. Caroline reportedly performed extremely well academically, especially in philosophy, psychology, and biology. Intelligence clearly existed beyond public glamour. Academic success demonstrated seriousness and dedication often ignored by magazines obsessed with appearance and nightlife. Interesting contradiction developed during teenage and young adult years. Public fascination focused almost entirely on beauty, fashion, elegance, and social life, while intellectual accomplishments received far less attention. Happens often with famous women, honestly. Deep intelligence gets overlooked because cameras prefer glamour. By late teenage years and early 20s, photographs spread everywhere across Europe. Magazine covers constantly featured elegant hairstyles, fashionable clothing, glamorous events, and nightlife appearances. Paris became especially connected with social image. Clubs like Rasputin attracted celebrities, aristocrats, and wealthy social figures, making every appearance instant gossip material. Media attention grew relentless. One night out became front-page discussion. One photograph became weeks of commentary. Imagine trying to live normally while cameras transformed ordinary social outings into dramatic headlines. Exhausting situation. Public fascination created image of glamorous royal rebel enjoying nightlife and freedom. Yet reality underneath probably involved pressure from every direction. Royal duty demanded dignity and restraint. Youth naturally desired freedom, excitement, friendships, romance, and independence. Constant tension developed between public expectation and personal identity. Such conflict shaped much of young adulthood. Another interesting part involved comparisons with Grace Kelly. Comparisons followed constantly because Grace represented almost impossible standard of elegance and beauty. Newspapers repeatedly compared mother and daughter. Fashion choices, hairstyles, expressions, relationships, behavior. Endless comparisons can become emotionally draining for anybody. Imagine growing up while entire world keeps measuring every move against one of Hollywood's most iconic women. Grace Kelly herself reportedly worried deeply about public attention surrounding children. Fame already carried intense pressure before marriage into royalty. Royal life multiplied scrutiny even more. Privacy barely existed. Rumors spread quickly. Journalists constantly searched for drama. Every friendship became possible scandal material. Despite glamorous reputation, loneliness reportedly existed within palace life. Strict protocol limited ordinary experiences many young people take for granted. Simple freedom remained complicated when security, tradition, and international attention surrounded daily existence. Even ordinary teenage rebellion looked different under royal spotlight. Still, intelligence and cultural interests remained strong parts of Caroline's personality. Literature, philosophy, art, languages, and education continued shaping identity beneath glamorous headlines. Multiple languages became part of upbringing because international diplomacy and royal expectations demanded sophistication. Public image often simplified reality into glamorous princess narratives, while deeper intellectual side received less recognition. Such imbalance frustrated many observers who believed media coverage unfairly ignored substance. Academic achievements deserved respect, yet nightclub photographs sold more magazines. Same pattern appeared repeatedly throughout celebrity culture during 20th century. Meanwhile, Monaco itself continued changing rapidly during these years. Luxury tourism expanded. International wealth flowed into tiny principality. Formula One racing, casinos, glamorous galas, and celebrity culture transformed Monaco into global symbol of luxury. Royal family stood at center of this image. Every family member carried symbolic importance for national branding and international attention. That pressure never fully disappeared. Caroline's childhood and early adulthood unfolded under unusual circumstances, where personal identity mixed constantly with national expectations, media fascination, family duty, and international glamour. Ordinary mistakes became international news. Ordinary friendships became public discussion. Ordinary emotional struggles unfolded beneath endless camera flashes. Behind diamonds, palace balconies, designer gowns, and royal ceremonies existed a complicated young woman growing up inside one of Europe's most watched families. Academic intelligence existed alongside social glamour. Duty existed alongside personal longing for freedom. Family privilege existed alongside emotional distance. Fairy tale imagery existed alongside loneliness and pressure. And maybe that contradiction explains why fascination surrounding Princess Caroline never truly faded, even after decades passed. Glamour alone rarely keeps people emotionally invested for that long. Complexity does. A life filled with elegance, royal expectations, public admiration, and private heartbreak created something far more compelling than a perfect fairy tale image. Behind every dazzling appearance seemed to exist another layer the public could never fully understand. And perhaps nowhere did that contrast become more painfully visible than during the wedding once described as a dream come true. But as this story unfolds, that dream begins to crack in ways few expected. Stay glued till the very end, because the heartbreak behind this fairy tale runs far deeper than imagined. The heartbreak of a fairy tale wedding. In 1978, everything around Princess Caroline looked like another royal fantasy coming to life. At just 21 years old, marriage arrived with cameras flashing from every direction, expensive gowns, royal guests, and newspapers already treating Monaco like a movie set. Standing beside Caroline was Philippe Junot, a French businessman almost 2 decades older, already known across Paris social circles for luxury parties, glamorous friends, and a lifestyle that never exactly suggested calm family life. Whispers started long before wedding bells rang. Close circles around Monaco reportedly worried about stability. A restless nightlife reputation followed Junot everywhere. Expensive restaurants, celebrity parties, late-night clubs, and headlines about romances already painted a picture that made many people nervous. Even inside royal circles, concern reportedly grew stronger as wedding plans moved forward. Grace Kelly especially was said to feel uneasy about everything. A mother's instinct, perhaps. Maybe experience. Maybe simple fear that a young daughter was stepping into something far more complicated than romance. Still, once preparations began, nothing slowed down. Monaco transformed into a stage for glamour. Luxury cars rolled through crowded streets. Cameras packed every available corner. European aristocrats arrived in elegant fashion. Hollywood names appeared beside royal figures and diplomats. Newspapers treated the ceremony like an international event, rather than a marriage between two people still learning each other. And honestly, how could pressure not become overwhelming inside an atmosphere like that? Every photograph projected perfection, smiles, elegance, royal tradition, wealth, sophistication. Yet behind all that sparkle, lingering doubts reportedly never disappeared. Some observers already questioned whether personality differences were too large to ignore. Caroline came from one of Europe's most watched royal families, raised under constant public attention and strict expectations. Juno represented something far less structured. Freedom, nightlife, unpredictability, and bachelor energy seemed attached to every public description. Sometimes attraction alone simply cannot carry a marriage once ordinary life begins. Then came the honeymoon, and according to reports, reality arrived much faster than expected. What should have been a quiet private escape reportedly became another public spectacle. One incident especially caused enormous embarrassment. Intimate honeymoon photographs reportedly found a way into tabloids after a photographer gained access during private moments. For Caroline, humiliation reportedly hit hard. Imagine entering adulthood under endless public attention already, then suddenly discovering deeply personal moments becoming entertainment for strangers around the world. At only 21 years old, emotional pressure reportedly became intense. Royal life already demanded constant composure. Cameras followed every movement. Every outfit sparked discussion. Every facial expression became headline material. Then suddenly, private moments no longer felt protected either. That kind of exposure changes something emotionally. Trust reportedly became harder. Privacy reportedly started feeling almost impossible. People often imagine royal marriages as perfect fairy tales, but situations like this revealed something much darker underneath luxury and glamour. Expensive palaces cannot protect emotional peace. Wealth cannot stop humiliation. Public admiration cannot guarantee compatibility. Sometimes massive weddings only create larger stages for disappointment. As months passed, cracks inside the marriage reportedly became harder to hide. Different lifestyles reportedly created tension. Public expectations added another layer of pressure. Monaco's royal image demanded dignity and restraint, while Junot's reputation continued carrying associations with nightlife and freedom. Reports from that period often described emotional distance growing steadily. Public appearances continued for a while, but speculation never really disappeared. By October 1980, separation became official news. Less than 2 years after one of Europe's biggest royal weddings, marriage breakdown headlines replaced fairy tale headlines. Honestly, many people probably saw warning signs earlier. Sometimes public excitement becomes so loud that obvious problems get ignored until collapse finally arrives. Civil divorce happened quickly, but emotional recovery reportedly took much longer. Public separation alone already brings stress. Doing so under worldwide media attention creates an entirely different level of difficulty. Every newspaper wanted details. Every magazine wanted explanations. Every public appearance sparked fresh rumors. Privacy again became almost impossible to maintain. Years later, in 1992, annulment from the Catholic Church formally closed that chapter. Yet, emotional impact reportedly remained significant long afterward. Early heartbreak inside such a public environment changes perspective. Caution reportedly became more visible afterward in future relationships and public appearances. Experience often teaches lessons glamour cannot hide. Looking back now, perhaps the saddest part was how young Caroline really was during all this. 21 sounds grown up on paper, but under royal pressure, obsession, and international attention, adulthood probably arrived brutally fast. One moment involved dreams, wedding celebrations, and admiration from around the world. Next moment involved tabloids, humiliation, emotional strain, and public separation. And maybe that remains one of the clearest reminders hidden behind all the royal glamour and carefully staged photographs. Crowns may sparkle under bright lights, but even royalty cannot escape heartbreak, fear, or the quiet loneliness that sometimes grows behind palace walls. Grand ceremonies, luxurious estates, and fairy tale weddings often convince the world that happiness is guaranteed forever. Yet sometimes, beneath polished smiles and elegant appearances, painful uncertainty is already beginning to take shape in silence. And in this case, that hidden sadness would soon turn into unimaginable tragedy. What happened next shocked an entire nation, and changed a royal family forever. Stay glued till the very end for this heartbreaking story. The tragic death of Stefano Casiraghi. After her divorce, Caroline found love again with Stefano Casiraghi, an Italian industrial heir and sportsman. Their relationship began quietly, away from the public eye. Stefano was known for his adventurous spirit and steady devotion, qualities that offered Caroline a sense of normalcy and happiness. They married civilly on December 29, 1983, and had 3 children, Andrea, Charlotte, and Pierre Casiraghi. Stefano's presence brought balance and joy to Caroline's life, and their bond was often described as a true love story, a rare fairy tale amid the pressures of royalty. Stefano was not just a husband, but a partner who supported Caroline through the complexities of royal life. He was involved in business and sports, carving out his own identity separate from the Grimaldi legacy. Together, they sought to create a family life that blended royal tradition with personal freedom. Their children were raised with a mix of discipline and affection, reflecting Caroline's desire to provide them with a more grounded upbringing than she had experienced. Stefano's influence was a stabilizing force, helping Caroline navigate her public duties and private desires. On October 3, 1990, tragedy struck. Stefano died in a violent speedboat accident off the coast of Monaco. He was only 30 years old. The accident shocked the principality and reopened old wounds for Caroline, who was still mourning the loss of her mother, Grace Kelly, who had died in a car accident in 1982. Stefano's death left Caroline a widow with 3 young children to raise alone. She withdrew from the public eye, seeking solace in a quiet village in France. Those who saw her during this period described a woman transformed by grief, carrying a sorrow that was rarely spoken, but deeply felt. Despite her personal pain, Caroline gradually returned to public life, channeling her energy into humanitarian work and cultural patronage. She became involved in numerous charitable organizations, focusing on children, education, and vulnerable communities. Her public image slowly transformed over the years, shifting from a woman constantly surrounded by heartbreak and public tragedy into someone admired for quiet strength, grace, and unwavering commitment. With every difficult chapter, Princess Caroline carried herself with a calm dignity that deeply resonated both inside Monaco and far beyond its borders. Admiration grew not because of grand speeches or dramatic moments, but because resilience consistently spoke louder than words ever could. And as the years passed, one question became impossible to ignore. How exactly would history remember such a remarkable figure? Keep watching, because Princess Caroline's enduring legacy reveals a story far deeper than many ever realized. Princess Caroline's enduring legacy. In 1999, Caroline married Prince Ernst August of Hanover, a union that brought new chapters but also challenges. Their relationship experienced periods of estrangement and reconciliation, reflecting the complexities of blending royal traditions from different houses. Caroline's children from her previous marriages have grown into prominent figures, continuing the Grimaldi legacy. Andrea, Charlotte, and Pierre Casiraghi have taken on public roles, balancing royal duties with personal pursuits. Princess Caroline has become a patron of the arts and humanitarian causes. She supports the Monte Carlo Philharmonic Orchestra, the Monte Carlo Opera, and leads initiatives through the Princess Grace Foundation, which honors her mother's legacy by supporting emerging artists. Her commitment to service reflects a belief that responsibility and care can coexist with grief. Caroline's work has helped shape Monaco's cultural landscape and brought attention to global issues affecting vulnerable populations. Caroline's life story is often overshadowed by the tragedies she endured, but her enduring strength and grace have redefined her public image. She embodies the delicate balance between royal duty and personal resilience, navigating a life that few could fully understand. Her story is a reminder that behind the polished images and royal ceremonies lies a human life filled with love, loss, and the ongoing search for peace. With this, we have come to the end of this video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, Do well to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. To enjoy more thrilling stories, click now on the following video that pops up on your screen.